You could purchase endangered shark meat and never know it. Scientists analyzed the DNA of commercially available shark meat. The results were alarming for conservation. Fishermen unload a boatload of blue and shortfin mako sharks caught at sea in the city of Itajaí, Brazil. Photographed by Victor Moriyama, Nat Geo Image Collection. If you decide to have shark for dinner in the US, you might unknowingly consume an endangered species. A newly published study shows that the meat of endangered sharks is often mislabeled in grocery stores around the country. The finding adds to the growing body of research showing how the mislabeling of seafood enables the sale of endangered species around the world. Marine ecologists Savannah Ryburn and John Bruno at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill investigated the issue with their students, sampling shark meat sold across North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, and Washington, D.C. In all, they collected 29 samples and found that they belonged to 11 species of shark. Concerningly, 3 of those species, the scalloped hammerhead, the great hammerhead and the taupe shark, are listed as critically endangered in the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species. That's the last step in the list before a species is considered extinct in the wild. Most of the samples they collected were generically labeled as shark or mako shark, without mentioning a specific species, while one sample was mislabeled as another species, and only one correctly labeled. The study, published in Frontiers in Marine Science, shows how some critically endangered sharks are being sold as less endangered or more stable species populations of species, says Jennifer Jacquet, a professor of environmental science and policy at the University of Miami, who was not involved in this study. This was the best place on Earth to see great white sharks, then they vanished. Mislabeling shark meat doesn't just endanger sharks, but humans too. To gather their samples, the study team visited local seafood markets and grocery stores where they bought shark fillets. They also purchased shark jerky, dried and seasoned shark meat, from US-based online vendors. Ryburn recalls how one of her students went to a local seafood market where there wasn't anything advertised as shark. But when she asked, "Do you have any shark?" the guy came back from the back of the shop and was holding a giant shark, and was just like, "Yeah, I'll cut you off a slice." The researchers then analyzed the DNA of the meat to find out the shark species. Finding so many critically endangered species in such a small sample size is alarming for many reasons, says Ryburn. Mercury is known to cause major health issues in humans. While many shark species contain mercury at various concentrations, some of the species the team found, such as the scalloped and great hammerhead shark, are known to accumulate particularly high levels of mercury in their tissues. That said, if you're concerned about eating mercury, I guess you would be avoiding eating sharks in general, says Shelley Clark, a fishery scientist who studied sharks for 25 years and wasn't involved in the new study. Mislabeling, or even just generically labeling, shark meat without a species name can create problems for shark conservation, making it harder to track the trade of these animals. We can't accurately measure population levels. We can't measure where they were caught and where they're located, warns Ryburn. So, it really does impact the monitoring and the conservation of these critically endangered and even the non-endangered species. Rare image of great white shark captured off the coast of Maine. Studies like these are the first step to better protections. How the endangered shark meat ended up in the stores and much more complicated. Some of the endangered species the researchers identified are regulated under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, an international agreement between governments which regulate the international trade of species. This means that if sellers want to import these fish from abroad, they need to have a permit. It's unclear whether permits were acquired to allow these species entry into U.S. markets, or if they were legally caught in U.S. waters. Jacquet points out that under the Endangered Species Act, endangered marine fish such as sharks do not have the same protections as endangered freshwater fish, terrestrial and marine mammals. Bridging this gap would help make the sale of endangered sharks illegal. We have done a good job protecting marine mammals in the United States. We have not done well by marine fishes, Jacquet says. It's high time we sort of look that issue in the face, and this study is a great contribution to encouraging that conversation. And the issue is not confined to the US. For example, in Australia, a study published in 2023 found that threatened shark species were being sold under the generic term flake in fish and chip shops. The rates of mislabeling of shark products and other seafood vary significantly worldwide, and have been reported in South Africa, Brazil, the European Union, the UK, Canada, and China among others, says Ashley Sharad, a research assistant at the University of Adelaide and author of the 2023 study. For the US, Ryburn offers one possible solution: sellers in the US should be required to have species-specific labeling on their shark meat. The mislabeling and generic labeling of shark species is really taking away the consumer's choice and the risk that they're taking to actually either avoid high mercury species or just like knowing what they're eating, she says. I personally don't want to be eating a critically endangered species. So, it's really harmful in that respect. Many consumers don't realize they may be buying and eating meat from endangered sharks, mainly because the global seafood supply chain lacks transparency. Shark meat is frequently mislabeled as rock fish, ray, or even common commercial fish species to avoid regulatory attention. In markets and restaurants, customers are rarely told the true origin of what ends up on their plates. This quiet substitution fuels overfishing and accelerates the decline of shark populations worldwide. Sharks play a crucial role as apex predators in maintaining balance in marine ecosystems, but demand for their fins, meat, and byproducts has pushed dozens of species to the brink of extinction. Conservation experts warn that without stricter traceability systems and accurate labeling, consumers remain unwitting participants in the illegal wildlife trade. They also stress the need for better public awareness so people can make responsible choices when buying seafood. Some countries have begun to introduce DNA testing and stricter import controls, but enforcement remains inconsistent. If stronger protection measures are not widely adopted, many shark species could disappear from the oceans within the next few decades, leaving long-term ecological consequences that would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, to reverse.